Part 5 is live. See how I rhyme? No, seriously, if you're like me, you rarely use procedural walk and run animations. But I know many dreamers do because they aren't animators, which is perfectly fine. That's why this series, I'm going to keep the procedural animations. For this episode, we're going to edit the run and walk animation. If you go into play mode, you'll notice that there is too much movement from the puppet while aiming, especially in the arms. This can be fixed fairly quickly. Reset your scene in edit mode and go to the puppet logic menu. Open the camera microchip and the poses microchip. In the poses microchip, we're going to make it to where the puppet's movements are more controlled while aiming. Get out 2 node gadgets and place them in the microchip. Now, delete the wire that connects into the pose and parameters keyframe. Open the puppet's interface and go to the outputs page 1. Here, you'll want to look for walking and running strength. Connect the running strength to one node and both running and walking strength to the other node. Once you do that, close the puppet interface and copy the poses and parameters keyframe. Edit the copied keyframe and make sure you see this blue circle. If you don't see this blue circle, you need to scope into the puppet until it pops up. We're going to de-animate some parts of the body, as well as edit the settings to control the puppet's movement more. Here's the thing. You want to de-animate the parts of the body that are already animated in the aim timeline. In the previous episode, we animated the right arm and torso to get the puppet to look up and down while aiming. So while we aim, we don't want the keyframes in that timeline to conflict with the running pose keyframe. So I'm going to simply hover over the body part that I animated in the aim timeline and press triangle to de-animate it. If you animated your left arm to aim, you would want to de-animate your left arm. If you animated the puppet's head in the timeline, you would want to de-animate the head, and so on. You want to de-animate the pelvis too, so that your puppet will stand straight up while aiming. After de-animating, press L1 and circle once until you see diagonal lines running through the puppet. You should still be in the keyframes edit mode. Now hover the imp over your puppet and press L1 and square to open the puppet menu. Here, we'll edit some settings. These settings will ultimately be up to you to decide, but I'm going to make it to where my puppet does minimal body movement while aiming. First, go over to lower body movement. Find lean into strength and set it to 0. Next, go to upper body movement and set everything to 0 except for springiness and breathiness. I'm going to set the springiness to about 7. When that's done, you can finally exit the keyframes edit mode. Now, the node that has only the running strength connected to it, attach that to the original running pose and parameters keyframe. The node that has both running and walking strength connected to it, attach that to the copied pose and parameters keyframe. Now, turn off the node that has the running and walking strength connected to it. Next, go to the camera microchip and place a keyframe. Edit the keyframe and go to the poses microchip. While in edit mode, turn off the node that connects to the original pose keyframe and turn on the node that connects to the copied keyframe. Once you do that, exit edit mode. Now connect the button you press to aim, which in my case is the result port of the calculator, into that keyframe. I also need to mention that it would be a great idea to name and color your keyframes. This way, you won't be confused later down the line. Once you're finished, we can test this. This looks great. We're getting closer and closer to our goal. And that's all for this episode. I hope to see you all in the next one. As always, if you have any questions or concern, feel free to comment down below and I'll answer them the best way I can. See you guys.